Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel, French and Pinay Simple Life in the Philippines. Since I published our last video that we received our land title, I received a few emails asking about the requirements and where to get these requirements. So in this video, I will try to discuss one by one the requirements for a simple sale of a land based on our experience when we processed our land title. First, let us define a simple sale. So when we say simple sale, meaning you are buying the entire lot stated on the title. It means that there is no need for subdivision or subdividing first. So for that, you only need the following. First one is the deed of absolute sale. So in order for an absolute sale to be qualified in the registry of deeds, it must follow certain qualifications. But of course, when you go to a lawyer, because it's the lawyer who will execute an absolute sale, deed of absolute sale. So when you go to a lawyer, normally they know very well already what are those criteria for the deed of absolute sale to be accepted by the ROD or the registry of deeds. But of course, it is also very necessary for you as a buyer or as a seller or as an agent. It is also very important that you have an idea also. So I will be referring here on the small paper that I got from the registry of deeds when I processed our land title. So for the deed of absolute sale to be accepted by the registry of deeds, first it must indicate the name of the spouse if you are married. It should be signed by both spouses if it is a conjugal property. And it must clearly describes the property type, especially the title and the lot number. It is very important. Indicate compliance of Article 1623 of Civil Code. Witnesses must sign above their printed names. So for our deed of sale, there are two witnesses who signed for our deed of absolute sale. And it must indicate the parties' government ID numbers. So it should be government ID numbers, whether SSS or I think tax identification number is also accepted. So all pages signed by all parties and witnesses. So an deed of absolute sale must be signed by all parties and witnesses. So not just the buyer and the seller, but also the witnesses must sign in all the pages of the deed of absolute sale. So you can see there are signatures on this side, and all the pages must be signed. Okay, and then notarized and dry sealed. So of course that is the reason also for the lawyer. So it must be notarized by the lawyer and with the dry sealed. Okay, dry seal. And then dorsal signed by BIR Revenue District Officer. So this one for the Bureau of Internal Revenue, they will ask your deed of absolute sale, because they will going to print or to sign a dorsal at the back portion of your deed of absolute sale. So this is the next, because actually after you get your deed of absolute sale, the next document that you must get is the BICAR, or the Bureau of Internal Revenue electronic certificate authorizing registration. So and that's the time you will pay your capital gains, and that's the time also when the BIR will print the dorsal and signed at the back of your deed of absolute sale. And then the last qualification for an absolute deed of absolute sale, it must strictly comply with the 2004 notarial rules. So all the lawyers know already about this. Okay, so that's the first document that you need to have in processing your land title for a simple sale. Okay, deed of absolute sale. And then second, as I have mentioned, the BICAR, the Bureau of Internal Revenue, electronic certificate authorizing registration. So this will be the basis for transferring the real and personal properties from the transferor to the transferee after payment of the correct taxes. So that's the next step. You go to the Bureau of Internal Revenue in your where your lot is located. I mean on the place where your lot is located. And then you can visit, I suggest you to visit the bir.gov.ph for more information on how to process your BIR e-car, okay? But one of the requirements is the deed of absolute sale, and of course you need to pay your capital gains tax, okay? And then next is the third requirement for the, actually all that I will mention is all the requirements that you need to have before you go to the registry of deeds. It is very important that everything is complete before you go to the ROD, so that you don't have to go back and forth, especially if the registry of deeds is farther from your place. You can save time and effort, and also money for transportation expenses, right? So that is why I am sharing this small paper from the Registry of Deeds. But also you can also visit the lra.gov.ph or the Land Registration Authority. That's their website. Or you can go specifically on the website of the for example, here in Bohol province. So there is actually the website is only one for the lra.gov.ph. So that's already the national. But normally they have all the regional offices, normally they have their own Facebook page, and you can also visit, you can chat, or you can send an email also. So for the Bohol province, so boholrd@gmail.com. Again, boholrd@gmail.com. That's the email address for the Bohol province Registry of Deeds. Okay, so again, it is very important to complete first all the requirements before you go to the Registry of Deeds. So that's why I am sharing you. The first document is the deed of absolute sale, and then the second is the BIR e-car. So okay, so the third one is the owner's duplicate copy of title. So if the lot that you are going to buy or to purchase is titled, so you need to ask from the owner the land title of the lot that you are going to buy, because that land title will be surrendered to the Registry of Deeds and will be replaced with the new title under the name of the buyer. Okay, and take note that the Registry of Deeds do not accept a photocopy, so it must be original copy, or the original duplicate copy of the title. Okay, the next is the Realty tax clearance for the current year. So take note that this is very important, that before buying a land, you need to know if all the taxes for the previous years are paid. because the registry of deeds will going to ask you also the realty tax clearance. So, and take note for the current year. So it means that all the previous years and the current year must be paid when it comes to the taxes. So you can get the realty tax clearance for the current year. You can get this from your municipal assessor or from the municipal assessor where your lot to be bought is located. Okay, so buying a land, you need to ask the landowner or the seller if all the taxes are paid, because you can never process your land title in the ROD if the taxes are not paid, and it is an obligation of the seller to pay all the taxes due. If, for example, the previous years are not paid, so the seller must settle it first before selling her or his lot. So the next one is the current tax declaration. So you need to have the current tax declaration, and it must be the certified copy, and you can also have this from your municipal assessor where the lot is located. And then the next one is the transfer tax receipt. So the transfer tax receipt, after you get all your requirements that I mentioned, you can now go to the provincial, in the treasurer's office of the provincial assessor. They will compute your transfer tax, and you need to pay that in order for you to have the transfer tax receipt, because that is also one of the requirement before going to the registry of deeds. I don't have too much idea how they compute. I mean, I have an idea, but it's I think it's just complicated for me to discuss here. So it is better to go directly to the provincial assessor so that they can compute the transfer tax for your land, for the lot that you're going to buy. And then for the agricultural lands, if you're buying an agricultural lands, you need also the clearance from the DAR, or the Department of Agrarian Reform. Okay, and also if you are not the seller or if you are not the buyer, I mean if you are not the owner of the lot that is being sold, or if you are not the buyer, meaning you are an agent, or you are the lawyer, or you are somebody that is trusted by the seller or the buyer, so you need to have your SPA, or the special power of attorney. And take note that in the special power of attorney, it must be indicated there the specific authority granted to you. If you are asked to process the BIR, when you go to the BIR, if you are asked to process, it must be indicated specific in your special power of attorney that you are granted an authority to do that in the BIR. And also to go to the DAR, everything must be specific in your special power of attorney, and most specifically in accepting money or payment from the seller. So it must be indicated in your SPA that you have the authority granted by the buyer, I mean by the seller, to accept the payment from the buyer, because you will have a trouble when you go to the lawyer. Some lawyers do not accept an SPA if the authority granted is not specific. Okay. So after you comply all the requirements that I mentioned, it is now the time to go to the registry of deeds, where you're in the regional office of the ROD where your lot is located, and you can now submit all the requirements that I mentioned. And after that, the ROD will then conduct an evaluation and check all your documents, and when it is already approved, they will give you an assessment form and payment order. It's a paper wherein all the breakdowns of your payments, of your fees for your land title processing is indicated. And also this paper also has the EPEB number. I don't remember the meaning of EB number. That's the number. Normally you can use this number to transact or to follow up your transaction. And also, so again, this is an assessment form and payment order given by the Registry of Deeds if all the documents that you submitted will be approved or evaluated. Okay, and then you will now, the next step is to pay now the indicated total amount to be paid. So you pay in the cashier the amount so that they will now process your land title. So, and then you will have also the small official receipt after you pay. And then all you need to do is to wait after that. But I cannot share you, I will not going to share any information regarding on how long is the process, because actually everything depends on the regional offices and the government agencies involved, such as the BIR, the DAR, and also the ROD. So everything depends on how organized they are, and also it depends on you, how often you follow up or how fast you process all the requirements. Okay, so but the goal is to comply all the requirements so that you can proceed to the Registry of Deeds and submit all these requirements. And most of the time it's the ROD that requires a longer time of waiting, because they are now the one who evaluate. And after that, if you check the lra.gov.ph or the website of the Land Registration Authority, you can see there the process of their the flow of the process of their in land titling. So although based on our experience, it is very sad that what is stated in the website is just so far from the reality. But maybe just based on our experience only, hopefully, and maybe for you or for other people, they get their land title faster. But for us, for our experience, it's very, very but although ours is also subdivision, I will also talk the requirements for if you're only buying a land portion from the entire areas stated in the land title. So I will also discuss the requirements because it is more complicated, and that's what we experienced. Okay, so I hope you get some ideas on how to process the land title for a simple sale. And thank you so much everyone for watching, and have a nice day.